All right, hello everybody. Happy New Year, happy everything, holidays, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. In general, hello. Um all right, first stream of the year, second day of the year. It is going to be the year of the redacted OS desktop. Just putting it out there. Who the fuck cares? It's never true when they say it about Linux, so why shouldn't I say it about my system? All right. Hello MX. Hello everybody. I like your wallpaper. Could you send it on the off-topic channel? Maybe. If not, you can just Google Temple OS wallpaper. You can find it. Haven't seen you since last. There's always the funny guy. There's always the funny guy. All right. Few changes on YouTube. Are you fucking serious, YouTube? You piece of shit fucking platform. I swear to God. All right. I'm very pissed off at YouTube. I am this close. Watch. This close to dropping YouTube as a platform. I am so tired of their bullshit. Happy New Year, Crumbus. There's monetization on YouTube, including on the stream. Only for today, I'm just testing something. I'm not gonna say what the problem is until I know for sure what the problem is, but I'm very pissed off at YouTube right now. But okay, what I can say that's really funny is that YouTube is warning me that the current bitrate is too low, and Twitch is warning me that the current bitrate is too high. I'm streaming the exact same thing to both platforms. Great job. I love it. New company in the hate list. It's not new. It's been there for a while. Maybe okay if I try to make a calculator for redacted. It's up to you. Don't have to ask permission to make your own apps. So of course you can. All right. Not hating Google is weird. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. All right. I guess for monetization for live streams, today's probably gonna be the only one. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the experiment goes. Anyway, fuck Google. Happy New Year, Ice Dave. Okay. So, another change on, I wish I could turn it off. Obviously, they don't give me the option to turn it off. Jesus, this fucking platform. They added an option to dual stream to shorts. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. But why the fuck would you do that? Because first off, it doesn't even know that I'm currently talking to the camera. Like I've been live for a while here, bro. Can you please just catch up? But what's currently visible in the shorts is essentially this. A little bit of, you can see Terry Davis's right eye here, and EOS. Wonderful. I thought when they said they were gonna adapt it, I thought they were gonna do some shit, like something actually worth it, not just crop it. Great job there, Google. Incredible work. Another Google W right there. I've posted on my on my Discord a few times. I used to see Microsoft live streaming sometimes on TikTok. It's about as shitty as you can imagine. Chat in the videos behind by a lot. Yeah, probably. It tends to be a little bit of delay. Yeah, so Microsoft tends to live stream to TikTok as well. I'm assuming Shorts as well, but I've seen them on TikTok. It's about as bad as you can imagine, both the content and the format. And I've seen people live streaming to TikTok quite a bit, like programming and everything. Usually what they do is essentially what I do for my shorts. If you go see one of those, where the top half of the screen or the bottom half of the screen is my camera, and the other side is a cut version of the code. You can kind of read it, funnily enough. I'm not sure what resolution they're using. When I do shorts, I usually crop what I'm showing. Specifically, like I zoom in. These people are not doing that, so I'm not sure exactly how they do the streams. GitHub stream on Twitch, and the dude was just vibe coding a New Year's counter. Yeah. When I saw it, it was just two girls live streaming the new VS Code agentic features, and they were vibe coding an app that told you, like, it was like a quiz for which pop culture moment of 2025 are you? And it included things like, Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album or Brat album, both of which came out in 2024. So what was that about? I remember something about Chappell Roan, maybe. Oh, it was a Halloween thing. So it was like, what's your Halloween costume based on your pop culture moment based on a quiz that you took? And so, like, yeah, you just casually dress up like Beyonce on Cowboy Carter, I guess, which is just an American flag, by the way. It's nothing like super interesting. Another common Microsoft L. Okay. I haven't coded in like not really since I last streamed, but since like 2 days later, pretty much. Those girls were making the next $1 billion startup. Well, the AI was doing it. Copilot was doing it, really. Hi, G Studios. It was beautiful to see when they were like, okay, just code the whole thing for us. And then they were like, all right, let's test it out. Doesn't work. And then they went here and were like, it doesn't work. And then it was like, okay, let me fix that for you. After a couple tries, they got it to work. But then they were trying out the questions that it asked. And every single time at the end, the result would be Brat. And I'm pretty sure that's just because, like, it hard-coded an answer. Or it wasn't calculating an answer properly, so every single time, every single response was always the same. But I didn't stick around long enough for them to even realize that this was happening. They tried it like 3 times, and every single time they got Brat as a result. Is this basically just portrait streaming instead of landscape streaming and the short media app? Yeah. The real funny thing about it is that I don't have any control over it. I don't get to customize which section of my screen I want to crop and show on shorts. Which means for the next few hours, there's going to be a live stream on shorts that just shows this part of my screen. You won't even be able to see me. You won't be able to see anything that's actually happening. Most of the code tends to be on the left side. If you know what code is structured like, it's mostly on the left side. And I have zero control over that. Are you serious, bro? I don't get to choose which part of my stream gets shown on shorts. and I don't get to turn it off. So, yeah, great. Where did I use the mouse that you can see? You can see the Minesweeper source code to see how to use the mouse. It should be called like get mouse state or something like that. That's the syscall for it. You can also just look in syscalls to see what it's called. Okay, I haven't done anything in weeks, but when I did do stuff, it was on my laptop. So real quick, I gotta make sure that everything is synced. Probably something I should have done earlier. Let me see. This one's good. And yeah, this one needs to push. All right. Okay. God damn, that's a lot of changes. Mostly I just moved files. I didn't do anything particularly big. I just moved stuff around. But because I moved so many files, it detects there's like a lot of changes. All right. So, not sure what I'm gonna work on today. I have a few options I want to let the stream choose. But, yeah, let me start with what I have changed. I mentioned before I left that I wanted to do, well, I did the first one on stream and then I wanted to do the rest over break, so I did it. In my operating system, there's now a modules folder that contains pretty much all the drivers, except for the networking driver. I've mentioned that there's a person that mostly handles networking, and he's working on IPv6 support right now, and it's a pretty big pull request that he's making, and honestly, I feel bad that he has to merge my latest changes, because he started working on it months ago, then he had to stop, then he started working on it again. And in between those two things, there's been a lot of changes in the system. So good luck merging everything and then doing a pull request. But just to make his job a little bit easier, I decided not to move the networking code into this folder just yet. Again, it's just moving files, but it's probably going to make the merge 1% easier for him. So I might as well just do that. Besides that, every other driver in my system is now here in this modules folder. It can be replaced with its own version. I want to make it a little bit more modular, but it can be replaced technically. There tends to be a Raspberry Pi and Vert versions of it. So the Raspberry Pi, for example, uses the SDHCI for disk access, whereas Vert uses the VirtIO BLK device for disk access. So these are different. And that means that technically they don't get compiled. I don't compile things for the other system, essentially. I'm getting rid of a bunch of... That's not what I meant to do. Getting rid of a bunch of code that isn't being used. But it does mean that the binary is not interchangeable between machines anymore, which is hardly a problem. It already wasn't, so it doesn't really matter. But that does mean that my executable went from 738 kilobytes to... Watch it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be completely different. 729. That's a whole 9 kilobytes fewer. So, yeah. I'm the king of optimization. What can I say? What can I say? I'm so good at it. I'm so good at optimizing. A whole 9 kilobytes. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. I thought it would actually go down further than this, but no. 9 kilobytes. not bad still. What else? Oh yeah, I made some changes to my build system. So now it can build libraries, but to be honest, I haven't tested it in building a proper library. I've just made sure that it can produce a library output, but I haven't actually used it. So maybe I can do that. Let me see if it works. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go into SRC and I have to do Bootstrap. Now, first thing I need to do is I need to go into the OS and build it for cross-platform. Then I need to Bootstrap. That is going to create our red build executable. And I can then go into my game engine, for example, and build it for cross-platform. Oh, wait, never mind. It can handle libraries, but I would technically need to rebuild it every time because it's not configurable. So let's not do that. Let's not bother with that. Okay, and instead decide what to work on today, because it has been 2 weeks and it's time to decide what to do. I have a few options, but I'm probably gonna run a poll and let you guys decide what to work on today. So, where we are right now, I think the system is pretty stable. I'm not sure if I fully fixed the bugs, the crash that was still happening. I fixed a crash that's related to that, but I don't know if it's the one that happens every once in a while. That's the beauty of sporadic crashes. I feel so bad for this shorts live stream that's just happening, and like, why is that a thing? God damn it. Why can't I turn it off? Is there a way I can turn it off? Oh, I need to see this. YouTube Shorts. Live streaming. Creates a vertical crop of a horizontal live stream that shows up in the Shorts feed of the YouTube mobile app. It will gradually roll out to all creators in the next few weeks, with more cropping options and third-party encoder compatibility for vertical layout to come as future updates. Okay. So eventually, they're gonna give me the option to choose what actually shows up in my live stream. Until that moment, enjoy seeing a little bit of my terminal and a little bit of the system. Incredible work there, YouTube. Incredible work. I guess it works fine when you're gaming, because like most action is in the center. I just cannot figure out why it's so difficult to choose which part of my screen gets actually shown. This feels like a very basic feature that I would want to have in my vertical live stream. Also, I would love to know why a simple YouTube page is using 400 megabytes of memory. I mean, I know the answer. I'm just not happy with the answer. But, yeah. As always, great job, YouTube. Great job, everybody involved in the web. Love everything that you're doing. Big fan of big tech, too. Okay. So, let me actually choose what to do. I have a few options. I have a lot of options, actually. But Did I used to have an account on this thing? I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. What are we working on today? Let me see. What are my options? All right. Okay. RAM is free after all, right? Unless you buy new RAM. Fair. Streaming on Shorts? Yeah, they gave me the option to stream on Shorts, but not to choose what to stream on Shorts. I can't get over that. It's so funny. Great job, YouTube. You can stream on Shorts, but you can't choose what part of your screen actually shows up on Shorts. They could have at least put AI to choose like the most important part of your screen to show or some shit like that. Like, come on. If you're gonna make something so stupid, at the very least throw some AI in it. It's not gonna help, it's just gonna make it worse, but it's gonna be funnier. I'm looking into OS stuff, but I'm not sure what road to take, like going full-time on the science and understanding implementation after that, or doing both. I guess that depends on how you work. Personally, I don't think I could get any kind of relevant knowledge if I just learn things without implementing them. That's not how it works for me. For that matter, like if I want to learn Rust, I'm just gonna code something in Rust. I'm not gonna read a book about it or watch a tutorial about it. So same. If I want to learn how to make an operating system, I'm just gonna make it. But some people prefer to know the theory first and apply it later. Just whichever one works for you. RAM is incredibly expensive right now, and it's gonna get more expensive. So that's amazing. All right. I'm kind of leaning towards new year, new project type of philosophy for what to work on. Obviously, new project is a very relative term, because little life hack. If you are a person who works on a million different projects and struggles to stick to just one project, make an operating system, because then any other project you work on just ties back to the operating system. It's so simple. It's so simple. So, because one of the options is like making a compiler, right? Or making a 3D renderer. Okay, these are projects that are their own projects. These are their own things. But you can integrate them into an operating system, and all of a sudden it all ties back together. It all converges. Which is what has allowed me to stay so focused on working on this project, where I usually work on like a million projects. I usually work on a project for a couple months, and then I'm like, yeah, but I also want to make this other thing. So like, working on a project that literally encompasses all of software, pretty cool thing to do. Pretty great for sticking to the project. So everything that I'm going to mention today is technically a new project. Well, not everything necessarily. I haven't decided yet. I have a lot of options of things that I want to work on, and I'm going to work on all of them at some point or another. But like, which 4 options am I going to choose right now? I even haven't decided. But like, yeah. It's going to be something that could even be standalone, because I have a cross-platform build system. But it can also work for my system. I mean, it depends. I'm not making a rendering, a 3D renderer for Linux. That's stupid. But it, yeah, kind of. We'll see. Okay. All right, so that's the first one, actually, 3D renderer. There is that video of Mr. Zozing going around doing a 3D renderer with a very simple formula. If you think about it, the math behind it is incredibly simple. You just divide the x and y coordinates by the z coordinates, which is to say, objects that are further away are smaller. It's that simple. it's that simple. That formula is that simple. But it's something that you don't think about until you need to think about. So it's pretty cool. And him doing that gives me a basis to work on. It's so funny because this has actually happened twice recently. I was thinking of doing this 3D renderer. I mentioned it even in my last stream. I believe it was my last stream where I talked about all the projects that I want to work on in 2026. Here they are. 3D rendering. So yeah, here I mentioned it. And then someone posted it on my Discord, like that video of Zoze, and I've also seen it myself. And then another option was, I'm not going to add it here, but I'm probably going to do it sometime this weekend. I usually do like an off-topic stream, so something completely different from the main thing that I'm working on. And I'm considering checking out the music programming language Strudel, I think it's called. Live coding music platform, this thing right here, which, let me see what this sounds like. Yeah, so learning how this works, because I've known about it for years probably, and I haven't gotten around to checking it out. But I believe that is going to be, this is actually completely separate. I think it's open source, so porting it wouldn't be super difficult, but it's definitely not a priority. So this might be what I do for the off-topic stream, which could be Sunday or Monday. I haven't decided yet, so I'm not gonna include it in the poll. But that is the other thing that I was mentioning, because the other option is to also build something similar in my system, or like I wanted to build a synth actually, and also somebody on my Discord posted a video of a guy doing something like that. Funnily enough, what he's doing is similar to what we did when I built an audio driver. Switch Angel. Oh wait. Yeah. I've seen maybe this video. Yeah, I think I saw this. I'm not sure if I can play these. Hi, Penguin. So I'm not gonna play it, but really cool. Saw it on TikTok. I think this is the one that I saw based on the outfit that I'm seeing, but couldn't really tell ya. Didn't know the name, so thank you for that. Yeah, so I'm interested in checking that out and building something related to audio, but that's not something I want to do today, so we're not going to include it. So 3D renderer is an option. Software 3D renderer, I'm not going to bother talking to a GPU for hardware acceleration anytime soon. First off, because the GPU that I mainly use, especially for the streams, does not have hardware acceleration. The other GPU does, so I could figure that out, but I have no idea how it works. Like, the documentation doesn't tell you how to use it at all. So I feel like there's gonna have to be some Linux kernel exploration to figure that out, and I'm not in the mood. Definitely not in the mood. Or some Mesa driver exploration to figure that out. So if we're doing 3D renderer, we're doing software only for a bit. It's nice to have a fallback too. So yeah, I kind of need a 3D renderer in software. It also teaches more about how it works, you know, because you have to do everything yourself. A music box is what I wanted to build. Either entirely in my system or relying on something like this, but again, not today. I'm kind of eliminating options that I don't want to work on. Like I wanted to look into databases, how they work, how they're done, how you know how databases and stuff, how they work. But not super in the mood for that. So I'm not going to include it. I'm instead going to include compiler. Compiler is a giant topic. Possibly the two biggest, most complex pieces of software that just about anyone can make are a compiler and operating system. And I've built one, now I gotta build the other. So I wouldn't really aim to make a compiler right away, like to have something that by itself entirely produces an executable. More so, I'm interested in something that's able to recognize code. I've mentioned before I wanted to make a transpiler from C++ to C to eliminate all of the hidden behavior that C++ has. And just to, you know, hate on C++ a little bit. And also to add that couple of missing features that I really haven't been able to add to C through macros. So that would be my not so much ultimate goal with compiler, but like my goal for the compiler. All right. Let me see what else. I guess I'm gonna add Windows system because I'm kind of running out of options here. I wasn't gonna, but I am gonna add it. I'm only gonna add it if there's really nothing else. For 4 options because I want to work on something new. I want to do something new. But don't have a whole lot of other options. If there are any suggestions for projects, by the way, anything that you would like to see, now's the time to mention it in chat. Especially something new. Obviously, there's still a lot of things that I need to do in the system, and I will still be doing them in the system, but like tiling window manager. Okay, yeah. About those window manager and desktop environment, I need to learn more about existing window managers and window managers and desktop environments. So I did mention I want to check out tiling window managers and stuff like that, probably in a VM, just so that I don't mess up my computer that I'm streaming from while I'm doing it. But yeah, I want to check them out, and then if I end up liking something, also install it on my computer. Because I do think I would enjoy a window manager, and I don't think. Okay, yeah. What the fuck is this? It has some very basic support for it. But I don't necessarily want to build that today. But I'm running out of options. The hip people now use scrolling window managers. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be really loud, but
I don't remember how long, but for a while.
Show me the window manager, my brother.
Here when I talk about a scroller. So let's go to new workspace. If I spawn a window, that window is going to be placed into a tile like you would see with a tile in Window Manager. I have it take up half the screen. That can be customized to whatever you want. If I spawn another one, that spawns into another tile. Now, normally in a tiling window manager, in something like an i3 or a Hyperland or a River or pick your poison, you'd spawn another window, and then based on whatever algorithm it's using, whether it's
I'm starting to
manually set
understand.
by you or there's some sort of internal, hey, this is the layout we're using, the window would be spawned somewhere on this screen. It would probably cut this window in half or cut this window in half depending on the model, or maybe it would create something else that I don't have an idea for. Maybe you want to do like a triple column one, for example. That's a totally normal layout as well. Now, on a scroller, that's not what happens.
What's fast fetch?
Instead, I spawn a new window, and let's just put BTOP here so we can easily see it. And instead of being limited to what
Okay, it's what I thought. It's what I thought.
On the viewport, we basically have an infinite horizontal plane. Now, if I don't want the window,
Cool. I mean, I wanna brag, but like, I don't want to brag, but like, yeah, I do want to brag actually, except for this. It glitches a bit, but yeah, you know what? It's the entire operating system has probably been in development for less than that window manager has, so yeah. Command line tool that prints the system stats. Oh, okay. Definitely doesn't lag. It does not. We're ahead of the trend, yeah. I've been planning on doing that for months. For months. I only implemented it like last month, pretty much, I think. Either late November or early December. But I've been planning to do that for months. I'm a visionary like that. Alright, so I think I'm gonna put window manager here just because I don't... I don't know what else to put. Yeah, okay. It's nothing else to do. Also, how difficult is it to do an SVG render? Because I have that in my list, and I'm not entirely sure why I wanted it, but yeah. Work on another graphics tech? Yeah, that's what 3D renderer means. It has compression, doesn't it? It's XML. Okay, no, it's optional. SVG can include JavaScript, potentially leading to cross-site scripting. Forget about it. No. I already said if I find any JavaScript, I'm just nuking your entire system. I'm just gonna panic. JavaScript detected. Opinion rejected. It's gonna be like that. It's XML. Okay, so yeah, I have an option. I have an option. All right, there we go. I really don't want to do a window manager. I really don't want to do a window manager. So, you know what? This is my stream, and this is a dictatorship, not a democracy. This is more of a suggestion. So, okay, those are the three options that I'm giving you. Democracy will find a way. It found a way with my video. I sort of got it. But yeah, no window manager today. Also, like I said, I want to install a window manager, even one of those, test them out, get used to them, and I want to do it in a virtual machine so I can like just get rid of it once I'm done. Not pollute my entire system with like 50 window managers and 30 desktop environments and 40 themes and distros and shit. So, virtual machine. But okay, I think these are going to be the options. Compiler so I can steal your ideas for semantic analysis. We're not going to get there today, so don't worry about that. All right. I'm occasionally okay. Here's the deal. Here's the deal for the window manager, because I saw that's a popular option. This is the deal. Today I'm gonna work on one of these 3 new projects, whichever one chat picks, and that's gonna be my main project for a little bit. But one stream per weekend. I stream Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. One stream is gonna be off topic. It's gonna be something new, game development, or like I said, music stuff on this time. But another one of the streams is gonna be Window Manager. So we'll be doing that. Not today, but maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday, maybe Monday. All right. So Window Manager is chosen as a main line option for Redacted OS, and then 3D renderer, compiler, or HTML renderer are gonna happen as well, but two streams per week. One stream per week for Window Manager and one off topic. Someone found an XSS exploit on Discord and other sites through SVG. Nice secure format, isn't it? It's a XML with JavaScript. Why would you? If I find JavaScript on your SVG, I'm refusing to draw it, and I'm gonna panic your system and destroy it, okay? I'm literally gonna like RMRF the kernel off of your system, so that no longer you can no longer boot anymore. Like, you're done. I'm revoking your license to Redacted OS. I'm putting it in the license itself. Do not use JavaScript or you will be you will have a virus. All right, there's the link. Gonna move the ad ahead by 15 minutes. So you have 3 minutes to vote. Alright, I'm back. I need to stop being on my phone during ad breaks because I always see some baffling shit. Yeah, so Stranger Things ended like 2 days ago, and people are kind of delusional over the ending. Anyway, time to see the results for this. I'm scared, to be honest. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Alright. I need one more person to vote on this, cause what the fuck? Come on, man. You can't do this. Make him work on a 3D renderer. I'm not sure if this updates if somebody else votes or not. I'm not sure what's happening here. I think it does update, but I'm not sure. Alright. Alright. Thank you for the votes. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Wait, what happened? I thought we were doing 3D renderer. I read that wrong. Oh my god. Alright. Okay, so I read that entirely wrong. Okay, so people want a compiler, apparently. I don't know why I thought it's... Did it move? Was a 3D renderer above and then compiler below it? I have no idea. But anyway, we're doing compiler, I guess. Kind of surprised, to be honest. I genuinely thought we were going for 3D renderer. Alright. Compiler it is. Boy, I'm scared. I'm scared to do a compiler, but we gotta compile. We gotta make a compiler. Oh boy. Wanted the HTML renderer? You and one more person, clearly. Wait, no, okay, one more person voted for 3D renderer, and 4 more people voted for compiler. I don't think that many people want the HTML renderer. Although, the HTML renderer and the compiler are both gonna rely on the same underlying, like, parser and shit, so... doing one's kinda gonna do the other. 3D renderer was above? Okay, so I was so confused, because when I saw it move, I thought, okay, we're doing a 3D renderer, and then I read compiler, and I was confused. Okay. A 1-pass compiler? Versus a 3... There's Dark Reader messing up again. There it is. Maybe start an interpreter? Again, I say compiler as the whole underlying tech stack that goes behind the entire thing. Because a compiler is really structured like this. We're gonna do this part. For a while, that's gonna be enough. Eventually, we might want to do these 2 parts. So, mostly I just want to do something that interprets code. Not necessarily something that compiles the code. Obviously, it's the same front end, so it's gonna be useful for a lot of things, but as a starter part, I'm only gonna focus on the front end and the rest are gonna come later. Usually most compilers even rely on LLVM as a backend compiler. Which is the one that actually produces the machine code that runs on, well, it's actually all shown here. You have your internal, your code in C, C++, Ada, Java, Swift, Rust, whatever the fuck, written in just like English with keywords and variable names and stuff like that. All that gets interpreted by the front end. It produces an intermediate representation. Well, I'm not sure about middle. What does it do? Is it optimization? Yeah. It produces an intermediate representation of the code, which is essentially kind of like a language agnostic, simplified way of writing the code. And then it does optimizations on that without making specific CPU optimizations and stuff like that. Just basic optimization stuff. And then the backend optimizes for the specific platform that you're going to be working on, as well as producing the actual machine code for the platform that you're working on. And again, most compilers, maybe not most, but I think most, rely on LLVM as a backend. Which is why I don't want to focus too much on this part. So you can combine front ends for different languages with backends for different CPUs while sharing the optimizations of the middle end. Yeah, so. A compiler for C, C++. Let's call it C style C++. Essentially, I wanted to be able to compile itself, and I wanted to be able to compile the operating system. So if I'm going to be writing it in C, it has to compile C. And my C++ code is C style C++. So it's actually just C, but put inside a class and inside of class functions and stuff like that. So that is what I'm going for. Honestly, the first version of it isn't even going to compile like actual C or anything like that. It's just going to compile something very simple to get all the elements going and then go from there. C with classes and the hidden bloat of C++. Yeah, so that's the thing. The reason I want to do it for that is I want to get rid of the hidden bloat of C++. I hate how much hidden complexity that is absolutely unnecessary is in C++. At least for my use case, it's completely unnecessary, so I want to get rid of it. All right. Gonna update the title of the stream. Since we have now officially decided on a project, and it thinks that I'm offline. Because streaming software is held together by duct tape. And that's kind of a compliment. I don't think it's even duct tape. I think it's just like a glue stick. Still offline, according to it. Cool, cool, cool. Gotta make sure that I'm not actually offline, because yeah, I'm online. I'm online again. Good. YouTube, you know that I'm online, right? Like an hour behind. But yeah, it knows that I'm online. If you're watching this through shorts, find the full stream, please. That was clearly a mistake and I cannot turn it off. Just FYI, in case someone's watching through shorts. Very hard to know for the software if you're live or not. Yeah, no. Genuinely, they don't know if I'm online or not. When I update the stream name, it's like, whoop, you're offline now. And when I go to check on the YouTube manager, it's like, yeah, you're doing a poll, right? Wait, what? That was an hour ago? Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Alright. We're doing a compiler then. Hold on. I changed the name for... I created a repository a while ago for short streams. Probably in the shorts feed. You just scroll until you find that, I guess. I'm not sure. It honestly just gave me the option and I was like, you're gonna like let me choose which part of my screen to show, right? Nope. I have a repository for it. And yesterday I changed its name. Or not. Or not. I guess I didn't change the name. Fucking vibe coded piece of shit. Fucking website. Yesterday I changed the name from elang to something else, but GitHub decided to delete it. And it was at like 3 a.m. So who the fuck remembers what the name for my programming language was anymore? Certainly I do not. Now, it used to be that only me and God and GitHub knew it, but then GitHub forgot and then I forgot, so now only God knows it. Oh, maybe God backwards knows. Jester. Still hungover from New Year's. Elang it is. Probably. Was it C-Red? So it was just cred? That might have been it. Since I've started adding red to everything, I think it was that. But I'm genuinely not even sure if that's what I called it or not. Alright, you know what? It's a 4-letter word, so I'm gonna call it that. Unless it forgets again. Which it might. Erlang from China? What is Erlang? I've heard of that. Examples. It's kind of ugly. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't like whatever the hell this is. Thank you. Okay. Sticking to this name. It's the Rust of the web world. God damn. You mean there's an alternative to JavaScript and y'all are still using that? Alright, let's build some street cred. Oh, because elang sounds like Erlang? Yeah. See, I called it elang like just one letter, but then I found out that was taken, so I added 3 E's. Elixir. Oh, maybe I've heard of that. I'm not sure. Alright, I'm going to copy my git ignore from the operating system. Gig ignore. You can use Rust in the web world if you use... Oh, I guess that's true. Okay. WebAssembly should belong in hell? Really? I thought it was gonna save us. What's wrong with it? Enlighten me, please. I need to know. Make me cry at this point. Okay. So, about a compiler. Thank you for actually listing out exactly what I said, what I was going to say right on the screen. Perfect. Usually, the way that you compile, again, just so we're clear on what we're doing today, most likely we'll only be able to do some very basic stuff, but the basic idea is you start out with what is essentially just a text document. That's literally what your source code is. It's literally just a text document. No special format or anything like that. And then you have some sort of parser, or what do they call it here? Line reconstruction converts the input character sequence to a canonical form ready for the parser. Languages which drop their keywords or arbitrary spaces within identifiers require this phase. Okay. Yeah, and yeah. But this is the part that I'm talking about. So I'm skipping these two. We'll get to them eventually. Essentially, separating, the text into its actual meaning. Like this is this is a preprocessor macro. So let's just skip those and get to this. This is a keyword. This is a name. These two parentheses indicate the beginning and end of arguments of a function. This indicates the beginning of a body. If is a keyword used for conditional statements. And your compiler needs to be able to detect these things, and it needs to be able to, tell them apart from each other, classify them. And the result of this is building, is this it? Yeah. A syntax tree. Actually, this image is perfect for what I'm trying to say. Essentially, it breaks down character by character, and then it constructs keywords and tokens based on the meaning of them. So if is a keyword. You cannot use if as a variable name because it is used for conditions. Right? The parentheses are used to indicate where the conditions of the if start and end, but they're not actually relevant. You can discard them once you find them. Then you can see net bigger than 0. Then what comes after, total, plus equals is the operation that's being done on the variable total. Then the full operation here, and then the semicolon, which again is important to detect it, but you don't actually keep it around. Once you detect these keywords, you build this tree, which is essentially a hierarchical view of what your program is doing. This is the tree for the if statement. On the left side, we have the arguments of it. So all of this is one argument. You could also divide it into, I don't know, an and or. And then on this side would be one argument. On this side would be another argument. Like I said, it's a tree. It's hierarchical like that. But on the left side of the if statement, you're going to have your conditions. Here in the middle, you're going to have your actual body of the if statement. And then I'm not sure why there's a nil here. I'm assuming it's in case you want to have an else or an if else or whatever. I'm not sure if this is how I would have structured it or not, but I haven't built a compiler in a really long time, so there's a nil there for a reason. Newest C++ insanity, Jason Turner's second newest video. I'll check it out in a second. So that's kind of what I want to do. Probably I'm going to do this part. Well, this part should already be done, the lexer. Probably going to do this part today. And then building the syntax tree is going to be a little bit more complicated. We'll see if we get there today or not. Also, once you have the syntax tree, then after that you have to do semantic analysis, which is like I don't know, you use this variable net here, use this variable total here. Do they actually exist? Are they actually numbers that can be compared to these number literals and then added to numbers? Yeah, so that. But that's for later. And then it talks about line reconstruction because, for example, I can do this. This is technically valid syntax, right? Or even like something crazy. Okay, this is no longer valid syntax, but this is valid syntax. This is valid syntax. So is this. Technically, this is perfectly fine. And if I try to compile, it will compile just fine and it will run just fine. Because of this first step, the line reconstruction. Essentially, it just gets rid of this stuff. It doesn't matter if your code looks like this or like this. It will compile either way. That step we're just going to skip for the time being. And then the other one is pre-processing, which is, of course, things like macros, like this define over here. This technically counts as pre-processing, I'm pretty sure. And, well, yeah, it does. It literally just like glues all that stuff together. And then also, what was the other one? Conditional compilation. So like stuff like this. Code that only runs if you have a specific preprocessor macro. During compilation, this variable is true, then this code runs. We're also going to skip that part for now, but we're going to have to do it eventually. Can't you do that in the Lexer? The pre-processing? I guess, but... See, the preprocessor is actually a lot simpler. And doing it in the Lexer would make it more complex, so no. And it would also make it less flexible. And trust me, you saw the code of my game engine. You know we need all the flexibility we can get when it comes to macros. All right. So today we're going to be doing the lexical analysis part of it. And start to build the syntax tree. The white space stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I think you can. I'm not sure. All right. Well. All right, so we're going to begin with something very basic, very simple, very normal. We're going to start just to test out the parsing capabilities and actually build the parsing capabilities. We're just going to make a simple, let's do it in micro actually. A simple file that's just going to be doing, I don't know, something like this maybe. Are we actually going to execute it? Probably not. Yeah, you know what? Who knows? Maybe we want to execute it, so might as well just add that in. And then we can comment it out. Comments are another important thing. I don't even remember when comments are supposed to be handled in the compilation process. They're not handled by the Lexer. That would make more complicated. Is it handled during pre-compilation, pre-processing? I genuinely don't remember. But anyway, that is the code that we're going to try to compile to begin with. And we're going to create a main Can I do Z? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So for my main, I'm going to just do my usual main function. And I just realized my compiler doesn't have any support for... Not my compiler, my cross-platform library doesn't have any support for reading files. And it's not super trivial to do that. Well, it is kind of. Honestly, I can just use libc. But I technically don't have it outside of my system. Comments in the lecture. I'm not sure about the correctness of that. But yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. But it would be like a special case, right? I'm actually not sure how to properly build a lecture. Like in the correct way. Okay. Am I missing? What am I missing? Yeah, red in it. To create the project. And then red build cross. Which is building with all that stuff. Missing end group. But you did create it, right? Yeah, that should have done it. Wait, okay, .red cannot be the extension for this. Because .red is already the extension for the package. So I'm gonna have to change that. Okay, but it did compile. Okay, so about .red, we're gonna change you to just .r for now. Oh, that's already taken. CR. Who the fuck is that? What is that symbol? Continue in resolution. In the US government and budget. That's exactly what I was wondering about, yeah. Citrix receiver. Whatever that is. All right. I'm gonna keep CR for now. Again, I'm not even gonna read the actual file, so who cares? I'm just gonna base it off of a very simple string for the very beginning of this. All right, I do want to open, add folder to project. Take forever, please. Why don't you? Don't open this because here in the shared library, we have Crystal, the programming language. That's a thing? Oh yeah, that symbol is, yeah. CR extension, yep. Okay, so CR ed. I can't really take one from another programming language. That would kind of be very confusing. Especially for build systems. And the other compilers and shit. Because you know everyone's going to want to support my programming language in their compiler. Hell. GNU itself is calling me right now to build, to expand their own compiler to work with my system, so. Okay, we're just gonna call it cred. And what I was gonna say, actually, I want to see the syntax of this one real quick. Puts hello world, class greeter, def initialize end, def salute. Yeah, you should not have built that. You should have left that CR extension to me. Anyway, I hope nobody took the fucking cred extension. But what I was gonna say is somebody built a tokenizer and scanner, which I haven't used yet, but we already have those classes for, well, classes. We already have that code to handle the actual like string reading and whatnot already for me. So as a starter, we're just gonna test it with a little bit of a single variable thing. First step is going to be, where's my image? Oh, can I just open the image in another? Why is it a GIF? Why is it a GIF? It makes no sense. But anyway. The Lexer apparently turns it into like specific characters. I thought it would turn it into specific words. But I guess not. Alright, we're going to try to interpret this string then. And I'm not sure how they work, so we're going to look into them. We have a scanner, which takes a string, a length for a string, and a position. So it goes character by character on it. And then how does it work? It can check if it's at the end, pick the next character, or advance the scanner to the next character. See if a character matches, see if a string matches, and skip. That's how I think it works. So let's try it out and see if that's how it actually works. So I'm going to include data scanner scanner.h, and we're going to create, I don't love the syntax. Why is it capitalized? Yeesh. Push pop for parentheses. Why would that be needed? This is just a scanner. Well, we'll see if we need anything else eventually. I'll rename it probably off stream. I don't care too much right now. Do we need to create it, or do we just manually create it? Scanner make, yeah. Capitalized? No. Test. GIF used to be the old format for the web, then PNG replaced it. I guess. strlen for test, which is actually declared inside of std string.h. I said I was gonna move around a bunch of stuff in the shared library. I'm probably gonna do it after the pull request I mentioned earlier, so it's a bit of a mess right now. God, I really wish I could move the short stream just a little bit so at least you could see the code, but like, again, if you're on shorts, please join on the main stream. I'm not gonna use this feature again. At least until they add the option to fucking decide which part of my screen to show. I swear to God, YouTube. You know it's okay to think things through for more than a minute, right? You don't have a time limit. Yeah, because GIFs are mostly for animated stuff nowadays. Alright, so if it works like I expect it to work, which I have no reason to believe it doesn't, then I want to do, while not scan EOF, and I want to pop the next character. Which is scan next. And then I wanna, like, I don't know, printf it. And that should be it. You can do animated stuff with PNGs. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so if everything went well, should be able to do that. Yep. Now we should have... There we go. No longer have ugly red lines everywhere. And then I should be able to do red build cross. Need to recompile the system real quick. Working on a compiler, just starting, so really it's a hello world of the compiler, but yeah. Okay. Then you can do actually, you know what? You're gonna do all of it together. Cred.red, cred.elf, int space a space equal space 0 space semicolon. Since when does it have a JSON parser? 2 weeks or so? Pull request. Okay, so it does work, but I just remembered that you can configure my build system. Configure is a strong word because you have to recompile it every time. I need to work on it a little bit more, obviously. But you can configure it to compile just an elf file without the entire like package stuff, which a compiler shouldn't need to have. So we're gonna get rid of that. All I need to do is I need to make it configurable, first of all, so I don't have to recompile it every time I want to make a change to how I'm compiling stuff. Because I'm only able to compile one project at a time, or one type of project at a time. But, can this jump to functions, by the way? No, not like that anyway. Can you? No, not like that either. Come on, here it is. Package. Is it elf? I hope it's elf. Not entirely sure that that's the correct name for it. Package bin. Not package elf, package bin. Which makes more sense, yeah. Okay. Then I want to bootstrap. Now I should be able to rmrf cred red and build cross, and that is going to give us an elf file that I can just run. Cool. JSON parser? Yeah, it has a JSON parser. Here it is. The scanner is powering the JSON parser. That's why it was built. But I asked for it to be built like this so I could use it for the compiler specifically. So, yeah. Yeah, see something real quick. Okay, cool. I'm never sure if the printf being used is mine or the libc one. I feel like that may be undefined behavior when there's two implementations of the same function. So I should probably rename printf to just like log or something, to explicitly have a new line at the end. But oh well. Okay, so we're able to read individual characters. Cool, that part is easy. And like I said, we're gonna skip over like new line, white space type of stuff. And we're instead going to, probably need to build a little bit of a, well, we already have a tokenizer. I'm just not sure entirely how it works. It's a tokenizer that works off of identifiers, numbers, strings, operators, left, right, parentheses, braces, and brackets, commas, semicolons, colons, and dots. That's a lot of features. Why did they add the JavaScript triple equal operator in the tokenizer? Where is that? Jump scare. JSON tokenizer. So I guess that makes sense. Sucks, but it makes sense. Oh, cryptography, nice. I'll check it out later. Okay, I think this tokenizer is gonna be fine for what I need to do. So, why do I feel like my chair has gotten smaller? I feel like I'm so low on it. I need to bring in like a pillow or something. Okay, so we'll just do tokenizer make. That's all I need, right? And then it produces an out token. So long as it is able to produce a token. JSON doesn't use the triple. Yeah, that's true. Was he parsing JavaScript? If so, he's fired. Tokenizer, 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 tokenizer. Boy, don't try to run. Just what you want. Okay. We got tokenizer. Silent key switches for my keyboard. Oh yeah, I said I was gonna buy a new keyboard, and I never looked into that. It's probably still open in my tabs somewhere. Oh well. Doesn't matter right now. So instead, what I want is if no tokenizer failed. No, if tokenizer okay, I think. While tokenizer okay, taking the tokenizer in. Then we want to produce a token. Right? We want to output that. And then call tokenizer next. I'm not including the tokenizer header, by the way, so none of what I'm doing is actually going to work. And I'm not sure how to export. Okay. Token kind, I guess. is what I'm gonna print. Indicate end of token, always return token instead of boolean in the next token. Wait, does this use a token? Oh, it's a boolean too. Wait, it's actually being used here, isn't it? So I can just check how it's being done here. It's got a token stream. What's a token stream? Where did that come from? Create a scanner, create a tokenizer based off of it, and the token stream, where is that coming from? Oh, I didn't see you there. Okay. It's in the helpers. And the token stream is the one responsible for actually using the tokenizer. You can make a slice instead of a start and length. I introduced a slice a while ago. I think it was off stream already, so I do have it. Yeah, it was part of the build system, so I did it off stream when I did all of the binary stuff that I mentioned before, like to compile just the elf. It's technically there, but obviously this doesn't implement it. It's very new. Okay, so then how do you use it? JSON parse value is the one that actually does that. By token stream peaking. Okay, so I need to do that. I need to do that as well. Okay. Well, first off, I need to include the data tokenizer.h, and then I need to include the data helpers token stream.h. Okay, so the token stream TS, that's what that stands for, obviously, is going to TS init, right? And that takes a previous function. TS init takes both the token stream and the tokenizer. The TS and the TK. And then you call this type of stuff. If you fail, it's invalid. If not, you parse it. Understood. Okay, so let me try parsing one. Just a very simple thing. And if not, I do want to print the token kind. Which, there it is. All right, so the first token that it found is this token of type 2, which is a identifier. And that would be the int that I put in, so that makes sense. If instead I write in like a bracket, then it is going to be a type 8, which is... That's good. It detects that. And if instead it is a... Is this supported? Yeah, type 5. Operator. Very nice. Okay. So to build this properly, can I just do it like this? Can I just do while this? Assuming that it's going to parse everything? Nope. Because I'm not advancing, am I? Do I need to do that part manually? Yeah, I'm doing peak. Yeah, I should be doing next. Now that changes everything. Oh god. Linux's buffer for the terminal is so small. Or Ubuntu's, I don't know. So how do you know you reached the end? This shit next. This shit peak. Sorry, token stream next. Token stream peak. Right? When do these return? You can also attach data to enum values in Rust, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm so used to doing that in Swift, but it's so limited, and you can't serialize it. I heard that Rust can actually serialize it, so that's pretty cool. But, yeah. Okay. I have to say, having this tokenizer stuff, it makes my job a lot easier right now. Yeah, I'm making a compiler right now. Just getting started. I do think, based on this code, it should return false eventually, right? But I'm not so sure. Serialize in what way? Like to JSON and stuff like that? Just to save the data that you get from that. Because like in Swift, you can do something like this, right? You can do enums. The syntax for enums is so weird, by the way. Also, it has like a name. God, I haven't written Swift in so long. I think this is what it's like, right? You can do it like this, and then you can do like this to indicate that there's an associated value to it, which is like a variable of type string. You can do another one, which is the second case, and that one's going to have a variable of type int, and so on. But then you cannot serialize it, because usually in Swift you can just do this, and that makes your enum automatically translate like to JSON. And probably to binary serialization, I'm not sure, honestly. I usually use it for JSON. But yeah, it's very easy to break that, and then you have to manually introduce the logic to serialize it yourself. Another way is to introduce an end of stream token. When peak, read the end of file. I would think it already has that. That's the part that I'm kind of surprised by. To me, it seems stupid that doing int value doesn't default into 0. Same thing with structs. It could be 0, it could be complete chunk. That is just the way that the assembly works. Because when you're writing code like this kind of gets interpreted to essentially this. I don't want to write the entire thing. Maybe I should have picked up a simpler function. But essentially it gets translated to something like this. right? Where all the variables that you declare are declared here at the top. I should have just opened Ghidra. That's probably the easiest way to show what I'm trying to explain. But yeah, your code looks like this, and then this gets translated to like it's kind of pseudocode here, but yeah, it gets translated to something like, well, no, say that this is 4 bytes each. Let's say that they're all like integers. So essentially you're just reserving 16 bytes of space onto the stack in order to store these variables, but you're not zeroing them out. So whatever was there before stays there. If you instead do this, then you are explicitly setting that to 0, and so it will do that for you. You have to do it manually. If you use something like Serde, yeah, that's when I looked it up. That is how it. That's the library that they were talking about. Okay. Again, I would have thought that this would return false when it reaches the final character, right? But apparently not. So that's kind of surprising, to be honest. Well, no, it does have a... Okay, yeah, no, that's how you do it, that's how you do it, that's how you do it. So instead, maybe I'll just do a do while. No, what the fuck do you mean a do while? That makes no sense. If token kind, if no token kind, then return. Break. Which means there's no more tokens to process. Because token 0 is end of file. Alright, so there we have it. It processed token 2, 2, 5, 3, 1, 4? What do you mean 4? Okay, besides printing that, also print the position of it. Or, you know what? I do have string slices like I mentioned before. So maybe I can implement them here real quick. Just to test it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, hold on. Okay. 2, 0. So that's this, right? Which it detects as a identifier. That's good. What's street cred? That's just a test program that I'm gonna compile eventually. Right now I'm doing it off of a string. Eventually I'll do it off of that. I'm trying to build a compiler right now. After that there is a another identifier at character 4. Which is, yeah, correct here. Then at 6, yep, is gonna be one of type 5, which is the equal sign. It detected it as left parentheses. I don't know about this. Unless I'm reading it wrong. 2, 4, 5, 6. Well, maybe. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Operator. Yeah, I was reading it wrong. It's operator. Okay, that makes more sense. Next up, one of type 3, which is a number. At character 8. So this is at 6, this is at 8. It detected the number 0. Then 14, 9, type 14 is a semicolon. That's correct. And then a 0 at type 10. Okay, I was reading them wrong. Okay. Yeah, it's because my printf here doesn't have an. I would have just made a function that returns a string based on the token type. Yeah. All right. That's a lot easier to see, and so it makes sense. Identifier int, identifier a, equal sign, operator, number, 3, semicolon, 14, and end of file. Cool. So, compile to bare metal. Kind of. I mean, I have an operating system already built, so compile to that, mostly. But, yeah. I should be able to, actually. Yeah, I would have to rebuild half the system. Let's do it at the end. Right now, I'm more interested in having it run on Linux than I am interested in having it run on my system. But eventually, we'll get there. We'll get there. Now, as to having it compile fully, we'll get there eventually, but it's going to take a while. Okay. Cool. So, the hard part is already handled. I kind of wasn't expecting this. The hard part being a classification of a string into these tokens, right? So just for the sake of it, let me do this, I believe, is the syntax that I chose for it. ARM architecture. For the string view, which is what I called my slice, all of that is subject to change. I might end up calling it a slice too, actually. Which you do by creating a delimited string view with this thing right here. And you just pass in the test, the token off, is that what it's called? Offset? No, position. The pause and the length. Or is it len? It's length. Okay. And if that went well, yep, it did not go well. I think I'm using this in the compiler, so let me check that out real quick. Not in the compiler, in the build system. I'm pretty sure I'm using this because I built it for that, so it'd be stupid to not be using it. Yep. V. Ah, wait. Okay. The problem of what's happening right now is that printf is the libc printf, not my printf. My printf internally calls string format. This does not. So here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to create a little logger. Yeah, I don't have to reinvent the wheel here real quick. I can just go into here and just copy this. Which is essentially a drop-in replacement of that. But instead of using this li buffer, you use a log buffer. So I completely deleted the code that was here. Cool. Okay, that was tkind and string or delimited string. I forgot the name of it. I forgot what it is too. Here it is. The limited string view, this thing right here. Taking our string, starting at t position, ending or with t length size. All right. So that way I ensure that it is using my functions internally to print. Except it's not, clearly. You didn't like that, did you? Well, I've never tested it with this 0 thing, so I mean without this 0 thing, so let me make sure that that isn't the problem. That's not the problem. No, it's faulting even more. Implicit declaration. Oh, I didn't realize. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, there it is. All right. So we have string slices. They do work. You just kind of need to import them and not ignore these warnings. I hate that this is a... What is it called? An implicit warning. No, I hate that it's a warning and not an error. Because implicit declaration, like... Did compilers back in the 80s and 90s just like hallucinate functions that didn't exist? Because that's how they're going to work in the 30s. I can tell you that much. Thank you, AI. But that's not how they work right now. I don't think they ever should have worked that way, so... Alright. So, we already have a way of classifying very, very simply. A way of classifying our program's code into this. And it already ignores new lines too. So that's pretty cool. Can we, instead of using this hard-coded string, use the street cred code that I wrote? Time to see. It doesn't have support for comments, I'm pretty sure, the token stream thing. So I might need to add that. But I'm going to ask a really stupid question. How do you open a file in libc? It's actually so funny that I can build an entire operating system, and then when it comes to coding in libc, I'm asking the stupidest noob questions. And search engines are incapable of giving me a straightforward fucking answer. Well, no, what I wanted to do is read file. I just want to see a little... Why is there a 22-minute tutorial for this? This is like a little snippet of code. Pretty much this is what I want. R. Okay, yeah, that's how you do it. And is it relative to the current directory? Is that how it works? Probably not, is it? Let open. I'm gonna go with probably not. Relative to working directory? Oh, okay. That's convenient for me then. So this is the libc way of doing it. In my system, it's about the same, but because I haven't built the backend that does this internally, then I'm gonna do it in the libc way, and then I'm gonna port it eventually. Yeah, let's do this. Might as well have that, and then these are doing read line. It looks like it does support comments. All right, we'll see once I figure out how to read it. fgets. Does the file descriptor tell me the size of the pointer? Because again, in my system, the file descriptor, when you open a file, gets filled out with the size of the file, and then you can allocate as much memory as you need in order to read the entire file into it. But I'm not sure if that's how it works on Linux with libc and stuff, so... Language that can write bare metal x86 code. Can run on x86 hardware. Nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing at this point. What do you mean opaque? Is this a difficult search for Google to handle? Am I searching something that nobody has ever wondered? What does this file look like? Because like, why am I not getting a straightforward response here? You need to use Seek to figure out the size. Kill me. Look how they massacred my boy. My boy being computer science. Greetings from the days as files were some kilobytes. Yeah, because by the name of fseek, that's seeking, right? It's going through the entire file, right? Or use stat, but that's a lot more work. Oh my god, you want to know how you do it in my system? That's how you do it in my system. Yeah, that should have been a pointer. That's how you do it. That's how you read a file. It's 4 lines of code. And frankly, it's about 3 lines too long. Okay, I'm gonna wait because I forgot there were ads. By the way, how's the experience on YouTube today? Because I just want to point out there's a lot of newer people in the stream today, as opposed to the usual 3 or 4 that usually join through YouTube. Since I turned on monetization, that's why I was saying fuck YouTube earlier today. And that's why I have ads on the stream as a test. It really sucks, but yeah. Turns out turning on monetization has made my channel more discoverable. Thank you for that, YouTube. I'm still not entirely sure that's what's happening, so I'm not gonna go on a full rant about it until I'm fully sure, but I'm pretty sure now. This just confirms it. Build a compiler in Python. Oh god, that's the second time somebody's told me that. In my last stream before the end of the year, somebody said the same thing. What is it about Python that makes you want to do compilers? Like, compilers are pretty complex. They require performance. They require precision. I would not go for that, for a compiler. I'm a little bit surprised. You got an ad blocker. It's reasonable. I don't care about the ad revenue, so feel free to have an ad blocker. You're more than welcome to. What's the compiler for? New language? C, C++, eventually to evolve into its own language or not, we'll see. Nowadays, substitutes to C that are very interoperable with it are a dime a dozen, so whether I make one or not, nobody gives a shit. Laggy as usual for chat. Yeah. I could have lowered the resolution, the latency, but it said it didn't support 4K, and now I'm streaming in 4K, so I didn't want to risk too many changes at once, since I'm also streaming to shorts as well, which was a huge mistake. Tomorrow I'm gonna set it to low. Back to normal. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. The amount of people watching the stream has actually grown. Oh, wow. Ads will run shortly for some viewers. Right as the ad on Twitch ends, the ad on YouTube starts. Fucking amazing. Alright. Yeah, it really looks like if I want to make people see my fucking channel, I have to turn on monetization. Like, I have to run ads. I said I wasn't going to talk about it until I was sure, but I'm pretty sure now. Essentially, if you look at my videos since September onwards, you can see a very clear drop in any kind of interest, any engagement, in views, in everything. Absolutely, like full free fall in every single stat. And at first, when it happened, I was like, okay, well, I guess that happens sometimes. But then I noticed that it kept going, no matter what I do. And it wasn't super noticeable for streams at first because it happened very quickly after I started streaming. But for videos, it's super noticeable. To the point that it now takes me longer to make a video than it takes YouTube to just destroy it, to just completely kill my video. It just makes making videos not worth it. So that kind of sucks. Because, like, I worked on a video over Christmas and it hasn't even gotten 1,000 views. Which my previous videos used to get 1,000 views within 24 hours. Even the poorly performing ones. Now, cracking 1,000 views is a monumental task to my videos. And the only change that happened in September is that I turned on monetization. I turned on, like, super chats. So that's the thing. I didn't want to turn on ads for videos, like pre-rolls and mid-rolls and all that stuff. I didn't want to turn that on. I didn't want to turn on ads for YouTube streams. I did have ads on shorts because I'm not sure, honestly, because I have premium, so I don't know what they look like. Please let me know if you know what they look like. But at this point, I have to turn them on. I did have them on shorts because I figure, like, you're scrolling, you're gonna get an ad, whether or not I have it turned on, so I might as well make money off of it. So I did have that on, and my shorts were pretty much the only part of my channel that was performing well. And I got really fed up when I saw that my latest video that I worked really hard on did not get any views whatsoever. And also, the vast majority of the views came from subscribers. which, if you see like any YouTuber, any video out there, at some point the YouTuber is gonna say like, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Only 10% of my viewers are actually subscribed to my channel, so if you're interested in my content, please take a minute to subscribe. It's only one button. You've heard that a million times, and normally that's true. The majority of our views come from non-subscribers, and I don't have a problem with that normally, but like the majority of my views before September came from non-subscribers. Something like 80%, 70%, 60% of my least performing video, 2/3 of the views came from non-subscribers. Since September, 70, 60, 80% of my views come from subscribers. Like the way that my channel was just completely annihilated after September was really, really noticeable. And if you were in my live streams before this one, you noticed how there usually would be like 8 people watching at the same time in the best moments, and like 1 or 2 people chatting, maybe even just one. Most people chatting were on Twitch, most people watching were on Twitch. But if you see this stream, it has a lot more people chatting, it has a lot more people watching. Right now it's at 11, at some point it was at 20, you know. And the difference is that this stream is monetized. So like, I understand that you want to show content that makes you money, but completely killing my channel because I didn't turn on monetization is vile. It's so fucking dumb. Honestly, I hate that they did that, because I didn't want to run ads on my channel. I know how shitty ads are. I've mentioned multiple times I don't want to run ads. I've mentioned multiple times how much I hate that Twitch forces me to run ads. I don't have an option to turn them off at all. And every time I've complained about that. So it's really dumb that if I want my channel to go anywhere, I have to have ads on my videos and on my streams and on my shorts. But again, I was hoping that those ones were there anyway, so it wasn't affecting viewers. But like, I was hoping like, okay, you can watch my videos without ads at the very least. I can do that for my audience, but no, apparently I cannot even do that for my audience. Sea Lion. Why do I feel like that's super old? I'm doing very well with Zed. I think I'm sticking to it. It's also done in Rust, so it's native and really fast. And I guess it's really secure too. Congratulations. It's a memory safe. You can't mention Rust without mentioning memory safety. Yeah. Okay, so there it is, the complaint about YouTube. It's really sad that I have to turn on fucking ads, because I really didn't want to. But if it's between that or just like having my channel be dead, I'm sorry, but I do have to pick not screaming into the void for the rest of my YouTube career. And also, my audience is pretty technical. You know how to install an ad blocker. I don't even have to tell you how to do it. I don't care if I don't get the ad revenue off of that. As long as my content is discoverable. That's what I care about. If you want to have an ad blocker, you're more than welcome to. I mean, no, by YouTube policy, I think I'm pretty sure we don't like ad blockers. But I don't care about the revenue. I care about the discoverability. That's my official position. Ad blockers are bad, but I don't care about the ad revenue. There's that. What are the resources to learn OS development? The OS Dev Wiki has a pretty good introduction section. You can Google that and find it. Okay. So let's get to opening a file in Linux now with libc. A monumental task as well. Hey, hard worker. How you doing? You just missed my first rant that wasn't about AI in a really long time. It was about YouTube. I just want a code snippet. Boy oh boy. Boy oh boy. what a fucking horrible syntax this is. Oh my god. I love the way that this is built. What? Who looked at 10K children paying literal scammers? What's that about? Hold on, actually. I'll do something real quick. Do I have it on my Discord? Yeah, I should have it on my Discord. Alright, give me a second, please. Here it is. All right. Thank you, Discord. Now, just a second more. All right, there it is. And yes, I could have done that in studio mode where you wouldn't have seen it, but better to do it like that. Monetizing shorts is just opting into getting ad revenue from ads that are already there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Again, I'm not sure how it works with shorts because I have premium and I barely watch shorts in the first place, but on TikTok, that's how it works. I actually don't know how TikTok revenue works because I'm pretty sure in Spain we don't have the creator program or whatever it's called. I'm also too small to even qualify for that. So ADK, but that's how ads work on TikTok. So I figured it worked the same way on YouTube, and I was like, there's already gonna be ads shown. I might as well make money off of that. So I did have that on, and yeah, shorts are the only part of my channel that was working between October when I started posting shorts and now. So my channel has essentially been dead, except for shorts between September and now. Yeah, on Twitch it has barely any lag. Yeah. Anyway. What an incredible syntax for this. I love it. I love it so much. So dumb. So, if I want to know the size of a file that I'm opening, which is a very rare thing. You never want to do this type of thing. You never want to know the size of the file that you're opening. You just want to read it all willy-nilly and nobody cares whether you know the size of it or not. Who gives a shit? It's simple. All you have to do is seek to the end of the file, then call ftel, which is going to tell you the size of that file, then rewind, because obviously you've already read the entire fucking file. And then you know the size of the file. Kick is probably the best streaming platform. How many people have died on Kick in the last month? I know Clavicular killed someone recently. I heard about a French dude dying a few months back. Like, people die on Kick all the time. I don't want to touch that platform with a 10-foot pole. I'm sorry. Exactly why I use Python. I considered Kick, honestly, but then I was like... First off, the usual suspects that are banned off of Twitch, those people that have done something so horrible to get banned off Twitch. By the way, you can commit sexual assault on Twitch and still be on Twitch. So imagine how vile you have to be to get banned off of it. The people that have gotten banned off of Twitch have all gone to Kick. And then there's so much criminal activity on Kick. Absolutely don't want anything to do with that platform. Not that Twitch is any better. Like I said, you can literally commit sexual assault on it and it's completely fine. They actually banned him. I'll say that. But you ran over a person on live. On Kick. This is the kind of streamer that is on Kick. And normally this type of stuff doesn't even get you banned. And it happens all the fucking time. Shot fireworks into a kid's face. Jesus Christ. See what I mean when it happens all the fucking time? You don't even hear about all of it. If you're not familiar with Kick, you don't even get to hear about half of the stories that happen on there. That place is vile. Again, it's where the people who got banned off of Twitch go. Oh, and yeah, he's not facing any charges for running someone over on purpose. But he was a stream sniper. I know that he was a stream sniper, but like, I don't know. That doesn't mean that you get to be killed. Also, why would you stream snipe Clavicular? That guy is so fucking stupid. Also pretty sure his girlfriend is a minor. Like, overall, a great person, you know. Ran someone over, girlfriend is a minor, meth user, hits his face with a hammer, looks 30, is actually 19, thinks he looks good, looks 30, is actually 19. Amazing person overall. I'm not entirely sure about his girlfriend being a minor, but like, pretty sure. Okay, so does this actually open a file for me? Well, what does ftel return? A long. And then f content is a char pointer. He's really speed running every crime that you can possibly commit. I forgot to include stdio. You have to create new laws around him. Wait, shit, I cannot call my function log because it thinks it's logarithm. Fuck. What can I call it? Print? Can I call it just print? Oh wait, hold on. If I'm gonna do that, I have to actually call it that. Yeah, okay, that works. Log k, no, I want something simple. Okay, so. Okay, just real quick. These two functions, the print and the read full file, I'm gonna move to the shared library probably at the end of the stream or like tomorrow or something. They're just convenience functions. I'm also gonna include a file opening in libc for cross-platform, so this stuff that I'm doing here. But I'm also gonna implement this function for redacted OS. You can call it by the library name or project name. Ideally, no. I wouldn't want that. The reason that I'm targeting ARM is the Raspberry Pi, which has since abandoned me, by the way. Because, ugh. Wait. Line 45? What's your problem? Oh, whoa, wow, okay. Smiley face over there. Alright, it works. But of course, my tokenizer is still working off of my hard-coded string, which I no longer want. So I'm gonna get rid of it real quick. And I'm gonna base it off of this string instead. Shit. Not you, not you, not you. Int a equals 0, semicolon, int b equal 1, semicolon, int c equal a plus b, semicolon. What's this? It clearly worked. Time to ditch the Raspberry Pi and go to RISC-V Milk V boards. Actually, yeah. Let's talk about that at the end of the stream, which is probably gonna be kind of soon. I need to have dinner still. What's the shortcut to move current line up or down? On Z, it's Alt and the arrow keys. And the file token? No. And the file token is 0. Let me just print real quick some information about it. Its position and its length. So like explicitly print these out for me and you tell me where they are. Yeah, thank you. Except its position is 56. Is there garbage at the end of my full file here? There could be. What did I call my function? Print. Ooh. Nice, Zed. I like these things that Zed does. Like this, when you do that, I like that it does that. It looks nice. All right. Yeah, there's garbage at the end of the... No, it's not garbage. What the shit is happening? What is happening here? That's gets code from your code. Yeah, how are you doing that? This is a libc function. I don't expect it to have any kind of bug. Unless you can get those on VS Code. I'm not sure. I'm not used about to. Look at your lang code. What about it? I'm not sure which one you're telling me to look at, but oh wait, no, hold on. There's this. It's probably a problem. Nope, still no. Bro's about to discover a 0 day. The thing in 0 cred. A, B, C, comment, printf. Then it prints a string. Wait, no way. No fucking way. Yeah, okay, I understand. You know, it's funny. If this was printf, it would actually show me a warning here. Format not a literal string and no format arguments. This is a warning because it is potentially insecure because this type of stuff can happen. You're not supposed to do that. But because I changed the name of the function, it doesn't have that warning. Alright, there it is. But there is garbage at the end of it. Care to explain what this A is? Is it just because my lug buffer is not my lug buffer? Yes, it is. Because malloc is not... No? Malloc is not zeroed out, which is why I created zalloc. But that is the end file. But why is the end file an A? This could be the end file, maybe. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. But like, now it's gone. Now it's back. Now it's fully gone. Now there's garbage in there. But why? zalloc and malloc. In libc, malloc does not actually zero out your memory. Hidden Unicode chars? In my street cred? I mean, it's gotta be. Hello? It's this. I think, anyway. Hi, Jester. Go. No? Zed always puts a space after the last line. No, 0A is normal. Alright, Instead of printing this, I'm just gonna print its yeah, the 0A is there, but that's not a printable character, is it? So it's just a bug in my printing code, maybe? Y20A? I'm not sure what the 0A stands for, but I guess it's for the new line, because there's 2 new lines. If I remove one of them... What the shit is that? It's straight up reading content that isn't actually there. It has the A and then 41 FFFFB 1. Where are you getting that from? Well, that's clearly not actually in the hex. It's not here. It ends at 0A. 29 3B A. And that it renders correctly. But then after that, 41, then this, and then this. Does it read the word chunks? There's no way libc is this fucking annoying. Maybe something with malloc? I'm doing zalloc. Just in case, I'm gonna zero it out manually. Zalloc should be doing this internally. It is, also. But another thing that I can do is I can just... This is so weird. Oh, it didn't compile, okay. Content undeclared. Oh yeah, I meant def content. It's all zeroed out. Add 1 to the size when you malloc. See, what are you? I mean, fread is reading into that, isn't it? Also, how does fread work? Oh my god, this... size n, pointer, size n, stream? What in the name of... What is that function signature, bro? There's no way this is actually the signature for fread. What the fuck is that? Buffer, size of buffer. 4 is EOT, not EOF. Exactly why I don't use C for programming compilers. Why I use Python? Hey, you're starting to make an argument now. I'm starting to get it. libc is so poorly designed. I'm not even gonna pretend. God damn. One F size switched? Maybe? I just copied this code, to be honest. That's why I'm looking at the signature. Oh, might as well try. I don't fucking know. Not quite. Okay, so we're sure that the memory is zeroed out, so I don't have to deal with that. Cool. I already had to deal with that because libc never considered, hey, maybe memory should be zeroed out when we give it to you, because you wouldn't want to have garbage values on there. You could use unistd.h instead. What for? F size plus 1 here or here? Instead of stdlib. Oh, I see. Yep. That worked. Alright. So even though you always work with 0 terminated strings, you're not considering that they're... You're telling me that boomers that wrote C are now retired in houses have left all kinds of debt, economical, technical, everything. Wow, what a surprise. When you put it like that, you've got a point. You've got a point. Now, I'm pretty sure the +1 I should have in my own system. No, I don't need that. No, I do need it. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good point. Yeah, that is needed. Okay. Cool. Well, we solved that. We can get rid of that. And now we have a tokenizer. Tokenizer. It's 100% true, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even going to disagree with the of course, that's true. Yeah, libc. I have so many issues with it. To the point that when I started building my own library, I made it different from libc. But now that I'm doing cross-platform, I need libc. So, and a lot of the same functions, I use the same names but different signatures. So I had to adapt mine. There's not much I could do about that. For example, memset. Memset allows you to set values per byte. I have a memset32, which allows you to set a 32-bit value. I use that one for pixels, for example. But memset works on bytes, which is why when it was made, its signature was a destination void star, int byte, and then a size, because int used to be a byte. But it is now the year 2026. I almost said 25, but no. Where int is now 32 bits. And this function has not changed to specifically indicate that it's an int 8. A byte, a char. No. No. It's still an int. So the function signature here is super misleading. Amazing work on that one. I'm just using whatever GCC uses. The point is to not have to bother with that stuff. Since I already have to implement my own, I don't want to have to do like that for the cross-platform stuff. But yeah, most likely what I'm gonna end up doing is what I'm doing today with print, which is like creating my own function with a completely different name that does things the way that I want to do it. Essentially, my library is going to become a superset of libc eventually. Okay, but we have our tokenizer built. So, like I said, I haven't had dinner. And my body's starting to really remind me about that. But before we get to that point of ending the stream and all that, One more thing I want to do is, damn, time went by really quickly, by the way. It's not even been 3 hours. Before I get to that point, I think we want at the very least recognize, you know, the only function type that I have in my system, or the only instruction type that I have in my language right now, which is this. If you want to know the philosophy behind my OS, I posted a video about it. December 26th. So, I went over a lot of that stuff.
Nietzsche, when you building the ASM generator?
ASM generator? Not for a long time. Like I said, we're doing the front end of the compiler first, then we'll see. LLVM is always there. Change the theme on the new theme system. The theme.config file in your redacted OS installation folder. Can you even just declare without defining? You can't do anything right now. Literally just this. What I have to do is build something that can recognize sequences of tokens and say, okay, this is what you're doing. Essentially, when you do this, 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 and this, and the semicolon, that is a specific type of statement. When you do this, it's another type of statement. When you do this, it's another type of statement. When you do the print, that's another type of statement. So that's kind of what I want to do. But by the way, the first thing I want to do is get rid of the semicolon. So my theme.config. Oh, with the wallpaper is different. I don't think I have the wallpaper anymore. What's Bison? So in OS, FS, Red OS, desktop.jpg. Pretty sure it actually doesn't read this one because it's a JPEG. It has to be a PNG or a BMP image. But yeah, it just has to be called desktop.png, desktop.bmp, and then theme.config. Here you have it. Let me open it in Z. Funny, I actually used it in my video. But I was messing around with it to get the visuals for the video and I deleted it. So I recreated it. I also was on vacation. I was visiting my family, so I didn't have access to this computer. So I lost it. I don't want to use TinyC, but I have heard about it. This is it if you just want to like look at the stream. If not, I might publish it, but like later, after the end of the stream. Like, this is the logo of it. And then this is the next part of it. If you want to just pause the stream and take a screenshot of that, that's probably the easiest thing you can do right now. I'm going to post it on my Discord later. LLVM, very good, but big in file size. I'm not really planning on... Again, I'm not even planning on doing full compilation right away. Bison is for what you're doing. Oh, tokenizer Lex. Well, the point is to do it from scratch, so that's not really helping. Maybe I want to do like a code analysis tool. Maybe I want to do a C++ to C transpiler. That's not a maybe. I want to do that. So those are the things that I want to focus on, and you don't need to get code generation for those. So that's why it's not a priority right now. Okay, what I said is we want to have something that recognizes that an identifier, an operator, identifier, operator, identifier, semicolon is a statement, right? Because that is int equals sign a plus b, right? So we want to have that. Essentially, just recognize this sequence of things is a specific type of statement. So defining the language of that the compiler is going to be able to compile. Are you writing an OS kernel? Not today. Today I'm doing a compiler for the kernel that I've already written. Fourth? No, I do back. I don't know about fourth. Oh, what a stupid fucking joke. To the point that I have to specify that was a joke. What you're doing requires mathematical proofs. State machines from scratch is good, but it will be tough. It's not my first compiler from scratch either. I did one in college. It was for a project, and I never handed it in. Got the date wrong. So, whoopsie. Probably easier to write an OS than a compiler from scratch. Oh, capable and deterministic compiler. Hold on. Relax. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Take time. Take time. My OS started in April. And now it's okay. But compiler starting today. So yeah, what I want to do probably requires a state machine of some sort, right? Probably. That's the thing. I know how to build it naively, but I don't know how to build it in a proper way. That's just naive, right? Why not Rust? Because I want it to compile itself. And the operating system, so yeah. Compiler never frees memory, so why bother? You know what's up. Thanks. All right. Is a state machine the best way to build that? I'm honestly not sure. C++, not just C. See, here's where I might want to do that, because the point is to build a compiler. The first thing that I want to aim for is a transpiler from C++ to C, because the C++ that I write is C style. It used to be C, and then I turned it into C++. But lately I've gotten so used to writing C that I don't care even anymore. But we'll see. We'll see. Right now I don't need it. That's the thing. Okay. So I mean, I'm thinking I should build a state machine, right? That looks like this. Essentially. For this syntax, for if you want to only recognize these, let's say that these are the ones that I want, right? These 4 different types of statement, which are actually 3 different types of statement. These 2 are pretty much identical. On my YouTube, you can find a few videos where I talk about the kernel. Okay, so this is not supposed to be a comment, by the way. We already saw that comments are being ignored, but here I want it as an actual function signature. Essentially, you start right at the beginning, and then you encounter an identifier, which is int, or printf. After that, you can encounter either another identifier, or you can encounter a bracket. What's the 8? Nope, damn it. Or you can counter a left bracket. After the left bracket, you can encounter a... I believe it counts it as a string. I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not even parsing this right now. But anyway, we can counter that. You can then encounter a operand. How do you know an arrow? 5. Followed by an identifier, which can then be followed by another identifier, or it can be followed by an operand. One thing that I don't like that the scanner is doing is that it's scanning numbers and strings explicitly, whereas I wish instead it would do like value. Because then I have to write a lot more of these cases. But whatever. Anyway, identifier, identifier, operand, identifier, operand, identifier. This is not supposed to be identifier, it's supposed to be value. This is the grammar, yeah. I'm defining the grammar of it right now. And I'm not gonna bother with this part because I'm not doing it yet. Anyway, all that is going to be followed by, in both cases, semicolon. Okay, so let me look at the token stream. I believe it's called, yeah. No, not the token stream, the tokenizer. It has values for identifier, number, or string. Those are the only types that it can handle right now. And I hate that it handles these two separately. I feel like it should be value instead, or constant expression, yeah. Because the way that it is right now is that all of this is actually has another way of doing it, which is with number. Comments, I think both work, but the correct way of doing it in Tamil is the hash. And by the way, this is in my very simple grammar that I have right now. It's going to expand a lot more. So most likely I want to change this. Let me see how the JSON is doing it. Can you listen to me when I'm telling you to do something? I feel like it should be handled by semantic analysis. I feel like, anyway, it should be handled by semantic analysis. Right, because technically I could write this. And it's syntactically valid, but semantically wrong. Whereas instead that would lead to a syntactic error. Let me see how it fails in GCC when I do this. Int conversion. So that's definitely a semantic error. That is definitely a semantic error. Which makes sense. And also when it comes to writing my... when it comes to writing my grammar, it's going to be a lot easier to do this. And also, if you want to have something like JavaScript that allows that kind of BS, so let's face it, it is BS, this can actually become valid. Because like JavaScript makes it so that you're allowed to do this type of thing. Also, you know, that is very modern syntax in a lot of languages. Probably gonna want to have the same thing. So yeah, it is very ARM oriented, and honestly, I don't know how difficult it would be to do RISC-V support. I recently modularized the kernel, so I have more chances of doing that now if I want to. But I honestly have no idea how RISC-V works. So maybe someday I'm gonna take a little detour and write a little small Hello World kernel in RISC-V, see what that's like, and see if I can add cross-platform support to it. I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, right now, not planning on it. The thing about it is that I could just make it configurable. I could just make my tokenizer configurable, right? So I could introduce a tok const, which is any type, a number or a string, whatever. And then in your tokenizer, which is here, I can introduce an option use const or like skip const analysis. I don't like that name. But yeah, hi Froggy. So I can introduce this variable here. And then in the actual tokenizer itself, wherever I find that it produces the tok number, right, which is here, is that the only place? Here as well. What's going on here? Oh, read number, okay. All of these are within read number? Yeah. So wherever you do that read number function, yeah, there's an ad right now. You know what? I'm gonna take a break because I added a new image. I might as well run it. All right, we're back. And totally forgot what happened. Yeah, I was saying that, yeah, specifically choosing whether something is a number or a string should not happen in the tokenizer itself. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't, which is why I'm adding an option for that. In the JSON parser, you want that.
Wait a second. IK redacted OS from your YTVs. Lol, now equals to UXD.
I only have heard it, to be honest, because, yeah, I'm at least gonna put them around my... Well, hold on. No. Can hold my hair back. But I heard that. Alright, so the way that the tokenizer works is just by calling read number, right? And then a read string. So I should be able to just choose here. Why is it passing the scanner but not the tokenizer? Damn, that kind of sucks. Because my plan was to do, like, if the tokenizer has the option to parse... What did I call it? I gave it kind of a stupid name. Let's shorten analyze, yeah? Let's not do that. Skip type check. Right, my point, what I wanted to do was just do, like, if skip type check, then the tuck const, otherwise tuck number. But the tokenizer is not passed to the read number function. So I'm gonna have to add that. That really sucks. But pretty sure this is not even being worked on anymore. Okay. Dumb. Did your message get redacted? Read string has it. So read string uses a tokenizer, but this one uses a scanner? Okay, so that's inconsistent behavior. I'm not gonna allow that. Yeah, probably better to do it this way anyway. And then... I forgot the T here. Here, here, and here. There. Chibik? What is that? Alright, so read number, where you at? Here you are. Alright, you don't pass this, you pass the tokenizer. And besides that, what else do you do? The same thing that I just did, I do now in the read string. Right, so instead of returning tuck string, you do T skip type check tuck const, otherwise tuck string. All right. So now it should be possible for me to configure my tokenizer to skip type check, because in this one we're going to be doing it ourselves. Chibi C compiler. Interesting. C11 features. This falls into the toy compilers category, just as all small compilers do. Can compile several real-world programs, including Git, SQLite, libpng, and itself. Good. Nice. GBCC. Oh, chibi means small in Japanese. Alright, I was wondering. Okay. So, everything should still work the same so far, right? Yep. Including my var d equals hello. Good. And now we can simplify this part of the grammar quite a bit by just doing value. Just get rid of all this. Japanese characters with relatively huge heads. No, I have no idea. All right. Implementing the entire like language grammar stuff might be a little bit difficult. Honestly, not sure. Again, I just don't know the best way to do it. So that's why I'm considering like maybe I'll end the stream today and continue tomorrow after doing some research later on how to do it best. No, wait, lexical analysis is not what I want, right? No, I want syntactic analysis. Because I wanted to do a very simple version of it, but yeah, probably I don't want that. I think probably the thing that I want, yeah, a state machine is probably the best way. Oh, when you said Japanese, I was looking at these. When you said Japanese characters, you meant like literal characters. I was thinking of. I was like, well, how do I know which ones are bigger and which ones are smaller? I guess this one's bigger, but like not in size. It's just more complex. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so also the output of what I'm doing should be a tree, but not super important. Yeah, I think I might want to just like take some time and properly consider how to do this. So I might stop for today, and I might do the syntactic analysis or once I've done a little bit of research on how to best do it, because I would like to have normally I don't have a problem with writing something in a naive way and then figuring it out later, but this is a big part of it. So I would much rather wait, and like I said, I'm hungry and I haven't had dinner. So if it's not now, it's gonna be like 30 minutes from now anyway. What motivates me to keep going? I was talking about that earlier when I was asking chat what we should work on today. Is this it? No. I said we're gonna start a new project, but everything always ties back to the operating system. And that kind of did that for me. Like it helped me, it kept me motivated because everything that I work on always ties back to the operating system. So I want to make a game, make a game for the operating system. Make a game engine for the operating system, ties back to it. Want to make a compiler, make it compile the operating system code, and make it compile damn it, applications for the operating system. So it all ties back to that, and it really kept me motivated to work on this project for a really long time. That and having an audience dedicated to it, like, I have to admit, that part also helps. But yeah. Graphics driver were like the second thing that I worked on. About that crash, if you look a little bit more, it might even tell you where it crashed exactly. I don't know, because it depends on whether it loaded the debug information or not. So that address is kind of weird. If not, you might just have to like comment stuff out until it works and figure out what it is from there. Like good old debugging in the normal way. Figure out what that address belongs to. Essentially, keep in mind the parser is not particularly strong for the TOML, and it doesn't even use any of the stuff that I any of these classes that I use today. Like, it doesn't use the tokenizer, the scanner, any of that. I'm gonna rewrite it to do that, but it doesn't. Boot.s? I don't think so. I think that's kernel main. That's the call to kernel main. That's the part of assembly that goes to C. So don't think that's it. You might have to debug the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna give you my theme.config when I'm done with this stream. Also, yeah, I saw that before about the USB driver. This is the guy whose channel I found him on Reddit. Didn't mean to full screen that. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed. Here, this guy. Flare Coding has a pretty good overview of how XHCI works for USB. That's not the only type of USB driver there is, but it's the one that QEMU uses, and the one the newer Raspberry Pis uses. And also, after I understood XHCI, writing DWC, which is the one that the old Raspberry Pis use, was a lot easier. It's also an easier spec overall. You have the toolchain installed? Oh, then you don't have the toolchain installed. You have the toolchain for Linux installed. You need the ARM non-ELF one, which is the bare metal one. And for the crash, on boot.s 113, let me open the project real quick. But I'm pretty sure... yeah, about those tutorials that I opened, like, I'm not sure if he's finished the series. He was long way from finishing the series when I was following it. But I just went to his source code and I saw it. It was on Reddit as well, on the OSDev forum. That's where he posted it originally. Pretty sure if you find them, you can just talk to him directly. Pretty sure I did it. No, I posted on the OSDev forum because I was having an issue, and he responded. Just casually, the same guy that whose tutorials I was following responded. Boot.s is this file, and line 113 is a call to kernel main. So that's not what's crashing. That's just a call to kernel main, and kernel main is loading the theme in load module theme mod. I'm not sure what this to-do is supposed to be, by the way. Probably shouldn't be there. So your crash is probably happening when loading the theme module, which is in kernel theme.c. So your crash is probably happening somewhere here. Probably one of the values that you wrote is not being parsed correctly, and that's leading to a crash. Like I said, I need to rewrite the TOML parser to use all these new classes and whatnot. It's a little weird that that's where it's telling you that it crashed. But yeah, it's telling you that because that's the one that's calling the main function. Kernel initialization finished. Wait, that's not normal though. Because if it's telling you that it crashed at boot.s, how can it possibly know that when that information is being loaded here and you're telling me that this isn't even showing? I don't know, but what's happening there is a little bit weird. You might want to undo what you've done until it works and see what it is. The to-do was to make it uncrashable? No. I can guarantee you it's not. I do plan on rewriting the TOML parser with the new parsing capabilities that we're testing out now for the compiler, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. It's just basic maintenance. Once you have the XHCI driver, how do you tie in with something like USB flash drive or USB to UART? I'm not sure what UART has to do with this, to be honest. Oh, wait, okay, yeah, USB to UART. I don't really do that. That's the thing. So I've only used USB for keyboard and mouse. That's the extent of my usage of USB right now. I need to look into storage devices. Also because technically you can install your operating system onto a USB or an external drive of any kind on the Raspberry Pi, and that would be nice to have. USB to UART records drivers for the chip. Probably. All right. So, gonna be in the stream in a tiny little bit. All right, I just pulled a cable, and if that cable was important, the stream went down, but I'm pretty sure we're live. Yeah. Yeah, that isn't really helping a whole lot. That crash log is just the same. Oh wait, hold on. You sent two things. No, yeah, that's Oh, okay. What you can do is you can run. Hold on. That address that you gave, ELR EL1. You can do this. Yeah. You can use like address to line or whatever that tool is called, which I don't remember how to use, so I'm not gonna do it. But can you please let me copy, bro? Another way of doing it is just doing this. And oh, there's a 98 at the end. Okay, hold on. This is where it's crashing. It's in sleep process. Oh, that's not good. Not sure what you're doing. Did you make any changes to the kernel itself? Because if so, let me know what you've done in Discord and I can take a look. Because, yeah. Not sure who's calling sleep process, to be honest. Like, kind of not supposed to do that. No one is calling it in the OS. But then again, it could be different on mine. So just You can figure out which function it is based on the ELR address that you posted. That's the instruction that actually crashed. All right. Why modules and not drivers? Yeah, modules because they're not necessarily just drivers. It's anything that I want to make replaceable in the system. Right now, it's only just drivers. Created the FS folder and I added the theme.config with everything inside. Do a clean just in case, but that's kind of weird. If not, you can go into GDC, the Game Developer Conference. You can go into GDB and do info line with the ELR address that's crashing. And that should tell you exactly where it's crashing. Or, you know, make dump and then search for it. So you can know exactly what's crashing and let me know on Discord. Okay. Before I'm fully done, obviously I want to do a commit of everything that I did, but this print function and this read full file function, both of them are going to be moved into my shared library. Because, of course, I want them. I need to break this file apart, by the way. It's all just called syscalls. It's not the best, but yeah. So I'm gonna introduce these to replace printf in my system. Because I cannot use the names of libc functions because libc is implemented like it's the 1970s. It hasn't changed since. Is there maybe a missing driver or something? Do you ever use GDB? I use it, but it's kind of stupid. Not gonna lie to you. Okay, again, the way that you implement this in my system, it's just this, fopen the path into the file descriptor, then char fcontent, char pointer malloc. Here you can use malloc, size of char is always the same, fd size +1. Then you want to fread into fd. Wait, what is this signature? Oh, it took the libc signature instead of mine. Into fcontent. How much you want to read is the file descriptor size. And then that's it. And you just return fcontent. That simple. Whereas instead, in the shared library, no, not the shared library, the cross-platform library, here, you want to implement both of these functions. Yeah, print doesn't need to be implemented. This one is implemented like this with include stdio.h. There we go. If I remove the theme.config, everything's normal. Hey, can you send me your theme.config on Discord, please? There's probably something happening with it that's crashing the operating system. Like I said, the parser is very hastily put together. All right. And so this function is only for non-cross compilation. Whereas this one is used for both. Cool. Okay. So if I try to run this now, it will fail because first off, I need to recompile this again for cross-platform one more time. Did it do it? Did it fail? It did it, okay. And second, read full file is not implemented. It does have graphics, yeah. Are we complaining about multiple definitions of log buff? Yeesh. What are the multiple definitions of it? Alright, there we go. And it's back to working. Okay. I do not like Vim. No, not at all. When I need to use a terminal text editor, I use Micro now. I went through a whole thing where I tested them all, and yeah. Vim is okay, but it's too much. When, you know. Cool little thingy. It was invented like decades ago. And it allows me to do stuff like this. So, Vim feels like too much now. Alright. I have a great interest in this and experience in C++. Where do I start? There are no good YouTube practical playlists or something? So I do have videos about it, but they're not super technical. But I do go into like my experience of doing everything. I do get a little bit technical in them, so maybe you can check that out. If not, the OS Dev Wiki. Okay, well, with all that implemented, I will have to put everything in Git and whatnot, but I'm gonna do that later because I am hungry, like I said. And it is 11 p.m., so I should probably go have dinner. All right, streaming again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central European Time and 2 p.m. UK time, UTC. Dropping a link to my Discord, which I used to do at the end of streams and kind of forgot to do recently. So there it is, in case you want to join. And I'm not missing out, trust me. I'm not missing out. Also, the important thing is to write code, not how you write it. So that doesn't really matter. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to continue doing the compiler. I'm going to do a little bit of studying how to properly structure my syntactic analyzer. Probably state machine feels like the right thing to do. I really wish I had my notes from when I did that compiler in college. I used to have them until recently, then I threw them out. I have no idea why. Recently, probably early last year, but yeah, still. Quite recently, considering it was a few years ago that I did that. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Like I said, next stream is tomorrow afternoon. We're going to continue doing some compiler stuff. We're going to do some window manager stuff on Sunday, most likely. And music stuff on Monday. So stay tuned for that. Probably going to stream on Wednesday as well, because it's my last day of holidays. After that, I'm going back to work. But then again, I get money from that, so that's kind of neat. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.